Have you ever felt like your whole workflow is just scattered? Like you got notes in one place, tasks in another, messages everywhere, and somehow nothing feels organized? You're working all day, you're busy all day, but at the end of the day, you still feel like, what did I even complete? And honestly, this is a problem almost every modern team faces right now, because everyone wants the same thing. One clean system where everything lives, your plans, your documents, your tasks, your communication, all of it. But here's the issue. Most productivity tools are not built to do everything the same way. They are built with different goals, for different work styles, and for different types of teams. That's why today we are doing a proper comparison between Notion, ClickUp, and Slack. Now listen, this is not one of those videos where I say, this one is the best, go download it. In this comparison, there's no clear winner because depending on what kind of team you are, different tool becomes the best one for you. So in this video, we are going to break down what each tool is good at, where it fails, and who it's actually made for. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly which tool fits your workflow. Whether you are more of a builder type that loves organizing systems, a manager type that wants control over tasks and deadlines, or communicator type who runs everything through fast team conversations. If you're into this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for future videos. Alright, so first let's talk about Notion. And honestly, Notion is like the tool for people who love building systems. Notion is basically an all-in-one workspace where you can keep your notes, document, databases, dashboards, wikis, everything in one place. Think of it like a mix between Google Docs, Excel, and a personal knowledge vault. But inside one clean workspace. It's not just a note app. Notion is more like you're building your own digital office. Now, where Notion really shines is organizing knowledge. If your team has things like internal documentation, SOPs, guidelines, meeting notes, project info, or boarding docs, Notion becomes your team's brain. You can create a full team wiki where everyone can search and instantly find answers instead of asking the same questions again and again in chat. Second big strength is databases. This is what makes Notion dangerous. You can build content calendars, trackers, project boards, a client CR, inventory list, habit system, and the great part is you can connect everything together like Lego bricks. That's why Notion is loved by solo creators, freelancers, and startups, because instead of using 5 different tools, you can build multiple systems inside one tool. But Notion is not perfect. First, it's not hardcore task management. Yes, you can make task boards, stack lists, deadlines, all that. But compared to something like ClickUp or Jira, Notion doesn't have the deep project management power like dependencies, split workflows, advanced reporting. Second weakness is collaboration can fail. So it's not like Slack where things happen instantly. Notion is more like async, like update it, document it, and come back later. And third, Notion can become messy because it's so flexible. If your team doesn't have a structure, it turns into chaos fast. Pages everywhere, databases everywhere, no naming rules, no workflows, and then your workspace becomes a jungle. Alright, now let's talk about ClickUp. And if Notion is the workspace builder, ClickUp is the project control center. This is the tool that's built for teams that want one thing about everything else: execution. ClickUp is a full project management system built around tasks, projects, sprints, workflows, dashboards, and team accountability. So instead of focusing on notes and documentation like Notion, ClickUp focuses on what needs to be done, who's doing it, and when it's due. It's basically designed for teams that have deadlines, multiple projects running at once, and people who need structure. Now, the biggest strength of ClickUp is task execution. If you want to manage project timelines, task ownership, due dates, status updates, recurring work, automation, ClickUp is a lead. You can create a task, assign it to someone, give it a deadline, set priority, and put it into a workflow like to do, in progress, review, then done. And the cool part is ClickUp isn't just about basic to-do list. It's more like a full system where a task behave like actual work units. The second strength is ClickUp is feature-rich. This tool has everything: list view, Gantt charts, dependencies, sprint tools, time tracking, docs inside ClickUp, forms, even automations. So if your workflow needs complex planning like a big marketing campaign, a software sprint, or client projects, ClickUp gives you the tools to control the full process. Now the third strength is visibility. Managers love ClickUp because ClickUp makes it super easy to see who's overloaded, who may be stuck, what projects are delayed, what projects are complete, and what projects are commitment. With reporting dashboard, workload views, progress tracking, it feels like you are looking at the entire team's performance from a control tower. And if you are leading a team, ClickUp uses that I'm in control feeling. But ClickUp has some weaknesses as well. First one is it can feel overwhelming. Like if you're a small team that just needs simple tracking, ClickUp can feel like you open the cockpit of a Boeing airplane. Too many buttons, too many settings, too many options. Second, it needs setup effort. ClickUp is not the type of tool where you sign up instantly, everything feels perfect. You need to set things up like spaces, folders, lists, statuses, templates, and even automations. And if you don't set it up properly, ClickUp becomes really messy, confusing, and people stop using it. And the third is it can feel really heavy. Because ClickUp is built for structured workflows, it's not always fun for quick light work. If your team mostly need fast collaborations and simple notes, ClickUp may feel like overkill, like using full project management system just to track small daily tasks. Last but not least, Slack is completely different from Notion and ClickUp. Because Slack isn't really a productivity tool in the traditional sense. Slack is a communication engine. If Notion is where your team stores knowledge and ClickUp is where your team manages execution, Slack is where your team lives and talks every day. Slack is a collaboration platform built around channels, direct messages, calls, live sharing, and integrations with other tools. And the main idea of Slack is simple. Instead of having messages all over email, Discord, and group chats, everything goes into one organized workspace, separated by channels like general, announcements, marketing. So Slack becomes like a company's digital office. Now the biggest strength of Slack is speed. Slack is built for fast decision making. In real world, sometimes you don't need a whole task board or a long document. You just need a quick answer like, are we launching today? Who's handling the client? Did we approve this design? Can we fix this bug now? And Slack makes those conversations instant. Second strength is Slack builds team culture. This is underrated. In Slack, channel starts feeling like actual team rooms. Like you can have channels for team updates, casual talks, learning, even mental health support. It brings people together, especially for remote teams. Because let's be real, remote works can become lonely, and Slack helps recreate that office vibe online. Third biggest strength is integrations. Slack integrates with almost everything. So instead of checking 10 apps, Slack becomes a place where updates comes to you automatically. And that's why Slack is insanely powerful for remote teams and teams that move quickly. But like the other two applications, Slack also has some weaknesses, and these are important to note. First weakness is Slack is not good for long-term organization. Messages gets buried. Today you had an important conversation. Tomorrow is gone under 300 other messages. So Slack is great for communication, but terrible as a memory system. That's why teams that use Slack rarely need Notion or other documentation tools to store things long term. Second weakness is Slack can cause distractions. If your Slack is not managed properly, you will have too many channels, too many threads, too many notifications, and too many pings. And suddenly, instead of working, you will just be replying all day. That's why Slack can either make a team super fast or completely destroy focus. Third weakness is task tracking is not native. Slack is not built for managing tasks like ClickUp. You can't properly do project timelines, sprint boards, dependencies, or detailed reports. So if a team tries to run everything purely from Slack, they usually become disorganized over time because conversation is not a workflow. So Slack needs integration or another tool to handle execution properly. Alright, now that we have broken down Notion, ClickUp, and Slack, here's the truth. There is no clear winner in this comparison. And it's not because the tools are equal, it's because they are built to solve different problems. Most people make the mistake of asking which one is the best productivity application. But the better question is, what problem are you trying to solve? Because in a real team, productivity isn't one thing. It usually is three things: clarity, control, and communication. And each of these tools is basically specialized for one of these. So instead of picking a winner, let's pick the right fit. If you want clarity, choose Notion. If your team struggles with stuff like where is the document, what is the newest version, how do we do this process? Then your problem isn't tasks. Your problem is knowledge and structure. That's where Notion wins. Notion gives you documentation, wikis, dashboards, systems. It's like giving your team a shared brain. So if your team needs to stop depending on memory and random chats, Notion is the right tool. If you want control, choose ClickUp. Now, if your team struggles with tasks not being completed, deadlines always slipping, nobody knows who wants what, then your problem isn't knowledge. Your problem is execution. That's where ClickUp shines. ClickUp is for teams that meet task ownership, deadlines, workflows, progress tracking. If you manage multiple projects and you want everything to move like a machine, ClickUp is the tool. If you want communication, choose Slack. Now, if your team struggles with slow decisions, miscommunication, long email threads, then your problem is team coordination. That is where Slack is the strongest. Slack is for fast conversation, instant updates, and building team culture. Basically, Slack makes teams feel more connected. It's not a system builder, not a task control, and it's just place where our work happens. And this is the part nobody tells you. Most serious teams don't pick one. They combine, because a real modern team usually needs all three. Notion for knowledge, ClickUp for execution, Slack for communication. And when you combine them properly, you get a perfect workflow. Slack handles the conversation, ClickUp handles the tasks, Notion handles the documentation. So you don't have to force one tool to do everything you want. So here is my advice. Don't ask which app is the best. Ask, do I need clarity, control, or do I need communication? Because when your tool matches your workflow, your team stops feeling busy and start getting things done. If you are serious about building solutions like this and you are willing to learn step by step and work on real projects, you're welcome to join our free community. Inside, we teach everything from ground up, starting from zero with practical hands-on guidance. And if you're someone who's interested in using this solution but doesn't want to dive into technical side and instead wants to move faster and scale sooner, you can also partner with us and hire our tech team to build these systems for you. Either way, the goal is the same: helping you move from ideas to real working solutions.